call to action and question. What is your unconventional, what is your fringe vision that you would like to add to that life flashing before your eyes situation?
That decision you made that you look back on and you say, that was a great moment.
Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome back, or welcome to
the Memory Millionaires Podcast.
We are survivors of government service,
cancer,
world travel,
and parenting. We're here to share stories and insights to help illuminate your path towards a happier, healthier lifestyle.
Living a more unconventional lifestyle.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that. How I say it's fringe, and you don't like fringe.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the word fringe. It just, to me, sounds...
It's not attractive.
It's not attractive to me. I don't want to be fringe, but we are unconventional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not...
There's so many different things. When I really pause and recount so many different things that we are unconventional on, our wedding, just for example. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just who we are. At some point, we both made a decision, whether it was a conscious decision or it's just come to us through our experiences of, we don't want our lives to be anything that could be prescribed. Or if I am writing the story of my life, what is the story that I want to be reading on my deathbed? What is this movie that I want people to be watching after I'm gone? And
have I talked about that theory I have on the life flashing before your eyes before death?
Which theory?
The life flashing before your eyes before death, how in your dream states, you're dreaming, you're kind of aware that you're dreaming, but you're not concerned with the dream. You're concerned with what's happening, and with what's happening, there is a seeing it, feeling it, doing it, but it's not happening in time. In someone who is watching you sleep, maybe, just say an outside perspective, the perspective of time is you slept for 8 hours. But inside your dream, it could have either been 15 minutes or a day inside of those 8 hours quotations.
Right. I even have dreams that span over days.
So, is it not conceivable that in a near-death experience, when you go between this time frame of waking consciousness and dying, in between is a dream state where you relive all of your significant memories? What is the strongest connections, neural connections in your brain are fired up, and you get to relive what are your most influential memories as a dream state in what outside perspective could be a split, 1 second that is in between your, the front, the car is being hit, and you've gone into such a panic that you're going out of waking consciousness and into a dream state, which is outside of time, outside of perceived time, relative time. And you can have a day's worth of memories played out in that dream state where your, deepest formed connections are fired up. And now the trauma that you needed to deal with comes up, the joy that you experience comes up, the connections between you and people come up, the energy is, exploding in you, and you get the chance to relive it. And that, I think the reason I formulated that theory in my mind is to give more concrete example to what you're talking about, which is when you, at the pearly gates, writing your book, being judged by God, what will you experience, what will be your looking back on thing. And I think that theory I have is why almost unanimously when people have a near-death experience, they relive their life.
What does that have to do with choosing an unconventional life?
That's where it's practical. Now, let's say you jive with my theory, you dig it. Well, that means you are going to someday relive
All of your choices.
all of your deep-seated significant choices. It's not what sandwich you ate,
right.
But it may be the dinner you made for your family on your property, which is off-grid, and you made it fully from your hand, whatever thing you set your heart toward, or it could be your last meal. Yeah.
Right. So in my mind, those unconventional choices that we're making are just when we and I get to this decision point of, should I do this or this? When I look back on my choices, what am I going to be happier about deciding? Well, in the day-to-day, that's more mundane. I'm going to be happier in the moment if I drink a mocha because it's going to please my senses and it's going to give me mouth pleasure. But in the long run, I know that there's slow side effects that are going to, between the caffeine and the hormones and the sugar, that in 10 years from now, I would have said, I wish I hadn't drank all that sugar every morning. It's little decisions like that, and it's basic decisions like, this job is really safe and secure and provides everything I need, but I have the opportunity to buy an RV and travel the country. Well, which am I going to look back on? And there's also the added, and you asked me this, or someone asked you this the other day about my health and considering my health, because I have lymphoma, and that is something that I have considered in the past, but I don't anymore. And I've taken that framework into, yes, I have cancer, but that's not the only reason I consider that every choice is important. It's that
you walk into stores or restaurants. I have cancer. I want this table.
But it's that
it
doesn't matter that I have cancer when every single one of us are not promised any days. So when someone gets the cancer diagnosis and they've had it, they have that, like, oh, I need to make these changes. Well, any day could be our last. So why put off making those changes or making those big decisions or following your heart? And I've been doing a lot of, I guess, searching.
Baby in the background.
Lately, I've been making a lot of considerations in my return to work and what it is I want to do with my life and what I feel like my purpose is, which ties into this unconventional life of, I have known for a long time, since before we had kids, but even more certain once we started having children, that part of my purpose is to raise good humans. In addition to raising good humans,
he got excited. That was cute.
I want to help other people feel satisfied with their lives. Satisfaction is going to be different for every person. Right? One person's satisfaction may be another person's hell.
Is that in alleviating suffering?
No, that is in learning how to be happy and make the best of what you have. That's first, is learning to be happy with what you have, and then also learning the changes that you get to make in your life to make everything feel better.
In order to alleviate suffering.
It does alleviate suffering, yes, but there's still going to be suffering in life. You can't alleviate all suffering.
No, but it's a universally acknowledged worthy worthy pursuit to alleviate suffering. That's a real high at the top goal. And then from there comes a whole lot of how do you alleviate suffering? Well, you help someone with their health and wellness so that they're guarded against suffering. Their health span is longer.
Yeah, so I've been juggling this of what do I do? How do I make people's lives better? How do I help them be satisfied with the lives that they have? And I was trying to come at it from all these different angles and like believing the things that I needed to do to be able to help people. And then it's finally come back like full circle that I realized that what I'm doing now is helping people be more satisfied with their lives. And that is in their ability to move their bodies, to be physically active. And a lot of that for me is coming from moms who want to be engaged in their children's lives. They also want to raise good humans. And they realize that their ability to move their bodies, to play with their kids is what is going to impact their satisfaction, but also the satisfaction of these good human beings that they're trying to raise.
So yeah, at the top is what I believe you are doing, which is alleviating suffering, trying to, at any chance you can, not through artificial means, where I believe there are a lot of people trying to alleviate their suffering, and they're doing it through externalities, pills, alcohol, cannabis, a lot. Money, yeah, externalities, where those are all fractionally as powerful as their intrinsic, internal resources.
I believe that the internal resources are the most important, and that somehow along the line that we've forgotten that the way that your body feels is the most important thing. Right? And if you don't take care of that,
it won't matter how good our technology is.
It won't matter how good our technology is. It won't matter how the perfect vacation that you planned or all the money that you saved. If you can't move, or you don't live long enough, or you can't play with your kids, like all of these things, the longevity of your life, what good is longevity if you can't do the things you enjoy?
Well, there are things that happen. An accident can paralyze you, and even without that capability, you can still have a long and purposeful, healthy life. I think the difference happens when those same intrinsic motivations are overpowered by the external ones, and now it's now on that deathbed recounting, you're recognizing all the opportunities you had to lead yourself, but you didn't. You relied on something outside. You relied on that job to provide for you. You relied on that drug to provide for you, the thing you wanted most, to lead yourself, to be in charge of your destiny, even if it was in a wingsuit screaming at the ground and your parachute didn't open. It was you doing exactly what you wanted to.
Yeah, and I think this has been more returning to work, and I've started working with more older clients than I have in the past, in seeing that people in their 60s, 70s, my oldest client is 79, that they're coming to me wishing that they hadn't waited so long to take care of their bodies.
Regrets of not of the dying. Well, we're all
dying. But that the regret of, oh, now I'm living on my own and I'm in my 70s and I live in this beautiful area and I just want to walk out my front door and go for a walk because it's gorgeous here, and I get anxiety because I lose my balance and I'm shaky and I don't know why, but I can't walk out my door anymore.
Wow.
And I've saved my entire life to live in this place where I could have this thing.
Yeah.
And now I can't do that
Wow.
thing.
Wow.
Or
Well, they've expended their ability to lead themselves for something else, for someone else, for some external thing.
yeah, or another client who's in his 70s who was talking about going to Parents' Day at his granddaughter's college, and he got to play, I don't remember what sport it was, but they did like invited the parents to play with the students in the sorority, and he was able to like,
What would they have
I don't know what they
invited him
were.
to?
I don't. It was Parents' Day,
Pickleball, like.
but he was able to participate in this event with his granddaughter.
Yeah, great. Didn't you say great?
No, just granddaughter in college. He was able to physically participate in that activity
In his 70s.
in his 70s.
7-month-old Gavin has been podcasting his entire life. Yeah, you have been in a podcast a bunch of times.
And do people ask you or question you about leading your children on an unconventional life, or comment on how we're parenting?
I get both.
What do you mean both?
I get, oh my God, I love it. And what are you going to do about socialization? What are you going to do about sports? Oh my God, I love it. And then what are you going to do about school? One side recognizes that we are exploring an opportunity. The other side sees it as lack of opportunity, lack of support.
Lack, maybe. And also
I think I don't evaluate them.
Right. There's lack, and then there's risk.
Certainly.
I hear sometimes, I don't hear as much of the critique anymore as I have in the past. But what I do hear is that, oh, I couldn't do that, which is fine. If that's not for someone, like what way we parent our children isn't for someone, that's fine. But also something similar to I couldn't do that is could have or could even, to which my response is, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why? What is the appropriate answer to why? Why not?
When I think about our conventional life, and then I consider, well, what would our ancestors have thought about our lives right now? This is totally unconventional.
Yeah,
what we're doing.
This is getting to that. We've evolved so much that what is healthy and natural is no longer normal. What is the new normal is something we've strived for. We really, really wanted everyone to have a house. Everyone deserves a home. It's the American dream. Everyone deserves a car. Everyone deserves that 2.5 kids. And we've set things up so specifically that when we talk about adventure and we talk about doing something outside of that convention, it's seen as too risky. Why would you risk your home? Why would you risk your 2.5? Why would you risk your security of your fence?
Yeah. So my question for people lately has been, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it because are you doing what you're doing is because that's what the funnel you were put into, the path you were put on, the expected behavior of someone living in our society is go to school, go to college, get a job.
Well, it's not a bad gig.
It's not a bad gig, but also
it doesn't. Sometimes it sucks, but it's not. It's set up in such a way that you should be able to live a long, comfortable, successful. Your resources will grow life.
Yes. And are you living a good life? Probably. Mm-hmm. Are you living a great life?
Are you living in such a way that when that near-death experience or that
whatever it is comes,
when life flashes before your eyes, is it yours? Is it all yours? Or is it a lot of forgotten things? Like you really do recount what you last ate because there's no highlights.
I believe that a lot of time people are choosing comfort because comfort is safe, and are making decisions out of fear because fear keeps us safe. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Safety is one of our base needs, is to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
But we're pretty safe and we're pretty comfortable. And I think that we get into this pattern of making these decisions that are very comfortable and safe in our lives, and then deviating from them, or deviating from what is expected of us to come next, then feels risky. Risks are scary. The risk of you quitting your job and not having any money.
Resources. Yeah, running out of resources.
Running out of resources.
Having to rely on our surroundings for our resources rather than our systems. Yeah, it's risky because we've not practiced that in generations. Well, some places. Hours.
When we talk about living unconventionally, taking risks, what I want to challenge most people to do is look at their lives and see where they're playing it safe. Where do they have an opportunity, however big or small that opportunity might be, that their fear is holding them back from making that decision that is the choice between the good and the great. When the highlight reel flashes between my eyes, this is the moment when I chose great. And that decision can be something as small as what I believe is a person choosing to come to me to feel better about being able to play with their kids. I want to be able to play with my kids because my body is sore, because I'm overweight, I'm not strong, I can't move.
Invest in their capabilities.
Yes. It can be a decision that simple. It can be a decision as simple as, I'm going to stop eating or drinking this thing that's making me feel bad. It can be a decision as simple as, I am going to put down my phone or put away the screen, turn off the TV, and give my child the undivided attention for this much time. Whatever it is. It could be, I'm going to quit my job to pursue what I love. I'm going to sell everything I own and move to India. Who knows what it is? But I want to challenge each person that listens to this. What have you just been afraid to do? And sometimes it's fear of what if I fail? What if things go wrong? What if I lose all my money? But it's always going to be a what if, unless you choose to pursue that something.
Well, what of failure then? What can we? Let's say 10 people listen to this and 8 are inspired to follow their path, their calling, their curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 of them fail. That's a reality of stepping outside of these comfort zones, and that one that made it, in their eyes made it, is a small percentage of the people that are now going around talking about don't do it.
Mm. Well, I would have to argue that if you did the thing and you failed, you only fail when you do not learn from that experience. So
Right.
set
So
out,
my use of the word isn't.
You set out to be a top chef in France, and you get to France and you start working in the kitchen, and whatever happens, right?
You get burned, and you can no longer be the chef.
Okay.
And so others and maybe you consider it a failure where you quit your aerospace job to become a French chef and you didn't. Where, yes, I see where I think I see where you're going with this, where if you have a mindset that allows you to reach that end point, not call it a failure, but call it a lesson that I'm capable of doing these kinds of things. Now you do it again. You do it again. You're no longer going to be an aerospace tech or a French chef. Now you're going to be a killer front of house rep, or some or coach of some sort, because you've found the mindset that can bring you through those kind of challenges and remind others that they can do it.
We're also very fortunate, and we have a lot of privilege.
Resources.
I'm going to guess that anyone listening to this podcast has the privilege and has the resources available to them, that if they went and tried the thing, whatever the thing is, even if things didn't go the way they expected, that something good will come out of that, and you will not fail so much that it's the end of anything, right?
Well, it will be the end of one thing, but then you've garnered a lesson that you're more capable when you allow yourself to try.
Yeah, I just don't think anyone's that's listening to this would be putting themselves in a situation of it's life or death.
Deadly, yeah.
Yeah. Like
the complete lack of resources.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to build my own rocket
Right,
and go to space.
There's no complete, like, it's, you've got your hearts in your video game, you got your health hearts and your whatever else, you may lose all the coins, but you don't lose all your hearts, or you may lose certain relationships, or you may lose some time, but all of those resources going away because of this one decision is highly unlikely.
Personal example. Give me a personal example of yours. You a time when you had full hearts and full bars and a stockpile of coins.
Oh, when we worked at the shipyard.
Okay. So you were...
But I didn't
full
have
bars.
Full bars because I didn't have... What's the happiness measurement? Mana?
Maybe. That's magic.
And I think maybe that's what I'm getting to, is that a lot of time people are sacrificing those happiness bars for the other bars, for the especially money bars, because money is so often perceived or tied with our safety and security, and also
it means resources.
Also happiness.
Even if money doesn't mean happiness to people, because I think that's a loud message these days. Money doesn't equal happiness. It still does equal resources.
It does equal resources, right?
And in turn, freedom. So
there's a whole nother tangent I can go on, is that there's this mindset around money of you want to have enough money, but you don't want to have too much money because you don't want to be greedy, and like you don't want to be too rich. But I look at the wealth that some people have, and I realize there's enough money in the world for all of us.
There's so much money.
There's so much money. Why should Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and whoever, why do they deserve to have more money than I do?
Because they've created an enormous amount of value.
They have created an enormous amount of value, but why don't I deserve some of that money?
Yeah.
If I can create value for people in their lives.
Right. That's the part people don't talk about, is they say I'm valuable. Well, yes, every life is valuable, but the creation of value for someone else, so that sacrifice of your time, your expertise or knowledge, the sharing of your lessons, the guiding of another person toward their own value, toward their own dreams, that's big value.
Yeah, it is. And then I in turn, by creating value for other people, then can contribute to those people who are creating value in my life. Right. So then it's that support system of we share values. You create value for me, I create value for this person, and then we've created this cycle where, well, we're getting in the weeds a little bit with money now.
We have a responsibility as a family. We explore these unconventional ideas and create these unconventional opportunities for ourselves that we need to inform and bring back the message of this isn't just for funsies. Like we're doing this to create value for not just ourselves but our communities. Hello, people listening, you are our community, where we can say it's okay out here.
And it's okay to take risks, and it's okay to do things that people don't understand, and it's okay to parent your children differently, and it's okay. So many things.
It's okay to be healthy and natural.
It's okay to not wear shoes. It's okay to not have chairs.
It's okay to be pregnant and have the baby. It's okay to be sore. It's okay to go play in the wilderness. It's okay to run in the dark. You know how many people get so anxious when I tell them that I run at night? Like, you bring a gun? What is out there? I've done it hundreds of times now. Thousands of times now. I've not encountered anything other than an owl. Because I have weighed risk. I don't go running into a bear den, but it's not, it's information I think we can bring back to people. And we all have an abundance that we've worked very hard to create for our kin and kind. And it's okay to explore options. You don't need to be a cog in the wheel. You don't need to be another brick in the wall. Or if you want to be.
I have to recognize that there are people that are very happy with what they do, that are living conventional lives. And that's great.
I'll be entertained.
As long as that's right. If what they want is to be that, there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think I know there are people, because I've talked to them.
We were them.
And we were them. That say, I wish I could do this. And there's an X, maybe a Y and a Z of why they can't. And I don't think they need a permission slip, but if they need a permission slip to say, I'm going to try something different, let this be it.
They need examples. They need examples of people out on the fringe, plot a graph, like a visible representation of, all right, everyone's collected in the middle. This is brick in the wall, cog in the wheel people, but there's dots on the outside, informing the inside that things are okay. Things are okay out here. If you're strong-willed, if you're cautious, like we are going to do things unconventionally, but cautiously.
Right. We're not just jumping into all of our decisions with no thought.
Hey, that ultra marathon looks cool. I'm going to just go do it. No, there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of consideration, testing, experimenting, lesson learning before we go and do it. It's a good time, I think, to bring up that why we're talking about fringe and unconventional lifestyle is that we are returning to one that we've occupied in the past, and now as parents we intend to occupy again, which is this home and this choice we made 5 years ago, that when at a concert I asked to become a father. I asked if you would make me a father, and it's come true. We thought we needed to be on that inside cog in the wheel, brick in the wall in order to...
We were the mindset of we had to live our lives a certain way in order to be happy, successful, good parents. And now what we realize is we're better parents when we're with our kids. We're better parents when we have less external stresses that are influencing the way that we parent and behave and honestly just show up in the world.
And the choice we made to do this lifestyle, this domesticated lifestyle, wasn't a wrong one. It wasn't a bad one. It wasn't our great one.
It wasn't. We made a good choice. We did not make the great choice. So now with the ability to, all right, we're at another decision point and we have some options.
Mm-hmm. Based on resources that were hoarded, the value of the house went up because it's, a dynamic of resources and the abundance of them around us. Like if we chose to move into your old hometown, we wouldn't have enjoyed the kind of growth of assets and things that we have here. So that's getting in the weeds. Fringe. Unconventional living. Why bother when everything's so good? Well, because it
could be great.
It could be great. And there's Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are people that went outside of conventional thinking and invested their time, money, and effort into something that Elon put an electric motor in an existing sports car. Why in the world would you bother to do that? It was costly. It was time consuming. It was also hardly effective, but it was him going unconventional that connected dots. Bezos wanted to sell books online.
Sell books.
Why would you sell
Use
books online? Yeah, you just go to the store and get it, dude. What do you mean online? I don't even have a email. What about email? I can't see it. It's on a computer. Unconventional is where we evolve, is where we adapt. And there's people unwilling to adapt and evolve. They don't want to. They're right where they want to be. They're comfy.
And that's okay.
And that's totally okay. And will be entertainment for them. Then there'll be people who are curious. Well, what do I want to do that's unconventional? I want to learn to horseback ride. You get it.
Do it.
Get it. What's in your way? Oh, it's expensive. Well, that's not in the way. That's just your next task.
And then there's going to be from curiosity into action. They're doing it. I can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Motivation.
The
first inspiration, then motivation. Call to action and question. What is your unconventional? What is your fringe vision that you would like to add to that life flashing before your eyes situation?
That decision you made that you look back on and you say that was a great moment.
I'm so glad I joined the Navy, but I'm done with it. I don't want it anymore. It wasn't unconventional. Well, it was for me, I should say. Yeah, there's something to bring up too. The opinions of others on whether or not it's fringe or unconventional is none of your business. It might be unconventional for you to work out. That might be unconventional to you.
Yeah.
It might be fringe to you. So levels of fringe may vary.
Yeah, so share your, what is it that you've maybe always wanted to do or recently considering or just curious about but don't know if it's for you?
Wait, don't go. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and share via review or post how this episode complemented your life.
Thank you for listening. Connect with us on Instagram or Facebook at Memory Millionaires. Be well.